Thank you so much, Courtney, for inviting me here. Great to be with you all today for this, what I really think is an important event, and this is a really suitable place to have this conversation and to talk about these issues. This area is very meaningful to me because I lived in Boston for about 25 years, and most of that time was just across the street, just across Marcy Boulevard at the Boston Globe, the old headquarters, which now I can't even recognize what the hell is happening there. This whole area where we are sitting, as Albert was saying, is landfill. And I saw a lot of that dirt and rock and whatever else being put in various parts over the years. And our vulnerability is astonishing. And let me just say a few words about the film that I made and that I look forward to being able to share with you a little later today and talk more in depth about. But I spent much of my career at the Boston Globe covering environmental issues with a focus on climate change. And over those years, I covered report after report after report about how rising sea levels are likely to affect Boston and beyond. And a lot of those reports were actually drafted right here at UMass Boston, and in many ways the authors of those reports inspired me to make the film that I will share with you in a bit. But it would seem, after reporting on these big bureaucratic reports, that each one would have a more dire projection than the next, to the point that the most recent report that I wrote about a few years ago suggested that sea levels in Boston Harbor could rise, in their worst case scenario, 50% higher than the same authors projected in their previous report just a few years before. And while I wrote front page stories about these reports, but they didn't seem to quite convey the gravity of what it is that we are looking at. And so I tried to think, how might I be able to tell this story? And as I was thinking about those questions, I was watching with, and I'm sure a lot of you have shared this feeling, a certain amount of cognitive dissonance as we were watching our city spend billions of dollars to erect a brand new urban district at sea level, on landfill, and hard on the coast, in a city that has more climate scientists per capita than probably any other city on the planet. And so, as I was watching this, and as I was writing these stories for the paper, with these really frightening projections, I thought maybe I could tell a story about how we made this decision to build the seaport. And my goal in making this film was to reflect how climate change, and specifically sea level rise, which we often think about in abstract projections, in computer models, but my hope was to show how this phenomenon is not, as some of the speakers before me suggested, is not some distant abstract threat, but one that very much presents a clear and present danger. One that we are already living with. Some, like John Sullivan, who is here, is at the front lines, the vanguard of trying to figure out how to push back and keep this water from inundating not just the seaport, but much of the rest of the city. And this whole area, a few blocks from here, probably less than a mile away, as some of you probably know, there is discussion about building something called the Seaport 2, or that has been maybe derided as the Seaport 2, and that is a whole similar kind of project that many people are concerned might present a similar risk as what we built in the Seaport. I will stop there. I look forward to talking to you all and talking more about the film later. Thank you so much.